Hello, it is the beginning of the school year and this is my classroom. I wanted to show you one of the very first things that I do to teach kids how to grow up in third grade. This unit is one that can be used in any grade though. Even though I'm using it in third grade doesn't mean you can't use it in another grade. So without further ado, I want to show you my growth mindset character unit. Hi guys, I'm excited to show you my lesson plan book for this growth mindset unit. The first lesson that you teach to kids is how their brain is a muscle. And you get my good friend Gus. He's a fictional character and he's a growth mindset expert, but he wasn't always one. He actually struggled to tie his shoes, he struggled with writing, opening his juice box, and as he has people encouraging, you can keep trying, you can do it. He thinks growing up is hard, but then his teacher tells him that his brain is growing and he ends up trying and he ends up doing okay. And Gus is really cool because he shows up in a lot of the different resources in this pack that stay up all year in your classroom. So Gus becomes somebody in the classroom all year. After the story, then they go into making a timeline. This is more probably appropriate for older grades, about their best and worst experiences in learning. If you're in the younger grades, just good and bad experiences with learning, and sharing that out. In the second lesson, we go right into our first storybook that I pick up from our school library, and we talk about how mistakes are going to make us smarter. And we read aloud The Most Magnificent Thing by Ashley Spears, and or Spires, sorry. And this is a great book. This girl, she is actually a big trier, and she tries so hard, and she still ends up giving up, even though she cannot make the most magnificent thing. And then later on, she does end up making it. Her dog in the story encourages her to take a walk, and things become a little more clear. So throughout this book, you discuss the different struggles she's having and the growth mindset and the fixed mindset types of things she's experiencing. You can talk about the fixed mindset and growth mindset quotes using your bulletin board called The Power of Yet, which this bulletin board comes up throughout the whole unit, but it stays up all year as a good reminder too, because some students need a little reminding when they get discouraged, even once they think they're a growth mindset expert. So after that, they go and they work with some fictional characters on becoming smarter. You can do that in a worksheet format. I also have some really cool cards. They can meet some friends and they can sort their friends as a growth mindset expert or not. I also have a Scoot game where you can put the Scoot cards around, and just basically some of the quotes that are being said are either fixed or growth mindset kinds of quotes. So there's lots of options there, or to keep extending that lesson if you would like. The following lesson after that is about the power of yet, and you'll talk again about that bulletin board, but this time you're going to pull out the picture book, Giraffes Can't Dance. This giraffe is so cute. He can't dance, and after he feels the vibes of a song from some crickets, he is able to end up dancing. But I stop halfway through the book, and I talk about things I can't do yet, and so can your students. So over here are some things that my students this year can't do yet, and they would like to do. For me, I can't run 5 minutes. I had big surgery last year, and that's a goal of mine. I would like to be able to do that. You can see it's anything from tying their shoes to triple back flips. Good going, Rex. I hope you can do that. Learning to type fractions. They were talking about all different kinds of things they hear about in third grade. It gives you a good idea at the beginning of the year of what they think of third grade too. And then they get to commit to one of those by starting to set maybe a bigger goal for themselves in the Power of Yet worksheet. Next is using the language, and this is where the Saving Fred activity comes in at the beginning of the year. It's a STEM activity where they have a challenge. There's this awesome YouTube video that you have to watch to do that with your kids. And Fred, he has an exciting summer, and he has a lifesaver, which is a gummy. He is a gummy himself, and his boat is a cup, and it's tipped over with a lifesaver on top. And the kids only using paper clips have to be able to get him back to safety. When they're done, the older kids get to do an activity here where they reflect. The younger kids have, oh, I don't have it here, but it's a what went well, what didn't go well sheet, and you record the language that they talk during that activity. In fact, that is the very next follow-up lesson, because the STEM activity will take you a little while, and you actually write out the quotes that they said, and you bring those back up the next day, and you talk about the kinds of mindset words that you heard during that activity, and you can bring back up the bulletin board again. And then they get to actually take a quiz on themselves and find out, do I have a growth mindset, or is it kind of fixed or a growth mindset, or is it just a growth mindset? And so these 5 little simple questions that they can add up and try to figure out what kind of a mindset they have, you could talk about with them. And then after that, then they get to make SMART goals. And I have a SMART goal bulletin board that goes along with this. You can see that the goals must be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. And they get to post those up here. And they stay up, and they might stay up for a while. And if they stay up for a while, that's okay too. They do want to be timely, so you can keep them accountable to what they say for their time goals. And then when they're done, you can keep track of those. I bought these little photo albums for 78 cents, less than $1. I think you can find these at the dollar store too. And I gave you the printable for a cover on here, and then they set their goals. And you can see this child wants to learn their subtraction addition facts using reflex with 3 green lights a week. They know they can do it because they're already 75% fluent. They only need 25 more to go. They know this is a skill they'll use in 3rd grade, and they only have 1 month to give themselves to do it. And maybe they'll have to extend their goal. But they get excited about creating that first goal, and as they go along, they can give that a whirl. They can give that a try. And then your last lesson is all about celebrating. So once that goal is accomplished, you're going to want them to be able to celebrate. And I do read the book, Thank You, Mr. Falker, and we do celebrate a goal that the whole class has been able to do, like maybe a fire drill that they did well, or walking in the hallways really well, since those are beginning of the year skills. If you try this in the middle of the year, you'll have to pick something else, maybe a behavior goal. But then they can create these little learning chains, not trains, and these grow and grow and grow. You can keep these slips of paper too and just put them in an envelope, and they can keep those over time. So at the very end of the unit though, you can hand out, or midway through the unit, you can hand out, sorry, this fell on the ground, but this is a growth mindset, quick tips and tricks kind of thing for families. So parents can learn that what they say affects kids' mindsets too. And they can learn about that, and then together maybe talk to their child about their goal. This child in my class was excited to learn the cursive C, and they put math. It wasn't very specific because we haven't talked about specific goals yet, but they obviously have some ways to achieve it, and they've talked about that with their family. So then you get the parents on board. So that's awesome. Get into the content areas. Another tool I use in my class is these hand signals. We do a thumbs up for when we get something, I understand sideways, and I need help down. This just becomes kind of a silent signal, or a signal they can do in front of their peers if they want, either at the end of a lesson or during a lesson. And then when they turn in worksheets and I'm not around, like let's say I'm doing a workshop model and there's something they have to turn in, they can stick these into drawers. You can already see some of them have, oh, nobody was confused on that one, have already evaluated themselves. And then I kind of know where to concentrate my grading too. Like I know that my kids who say they're confused, I should probably start in that box first. So I also post these signs up over on my board at the very front of the room, so kids know that as well. So this is something that I have in my pack, these little covers on this nice Sterilite box come in many different patterns and colors in case you have a different room color theme than I do.